These next two are amazing, but our runner-up is Mission Impossible. Just last week, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning released in theaters, and it looks like that this franchise is wrapped up as far as movies are concerned. So what better time is there now than to take all 8 of these films in the last almost 30 years and rank them from the worst to the best. In last place, we have Mission Impossible 2. This is the only franchise entry that I will call a bad film. The movie has the most rushed romance subplot in Ethan and Naya, a goofy and weak villain in Sean Ambrose, and director John Woo showcasing way too much slow motion, doves, and fire. Now, I will say that this film has a good plot. The opening rock climbing, lab heist, and motorcycle scenes are awesome. And I think the movie had the right idea of not being just another safe and clean-cut copy of the original film, but just because the movie does something different doesn't mean that it does something good. At 7th place, we have Mission Impossible 3. Now, there is quite a big jump between 2 and 3 on the list here and how much I like these movies. This is still a really good film. They handle Ethan Hunt being a romantic partner much better this time around and give us a great villain in Owen Davied, played by the late Philip Seymour Hoffman. What holds this film back for me is that despite these things, it does feel more like a Bond movie than it does a Mission Impossible movie. The actual heist isn't important since the object, that being the rabbit's foot, doesn't end up being worth anything inside the movie, and the main drama is with Ethan and Julia, so we care more about that than we do about the actual heist going on, the actual mission that's going on. So the movie is just stuck where I think it's a good movie, but that's pretty much it. Next up, in 6th place, we had the first film in the franchise, Mission Impossible, which is more of a thriller than the full action-adventure films that follow it. This movie is very much a heist film with the amazing Black Vault scene at the CIA headquarters. This movie sets up Ethan and Luther as the key characters of the franchise, as well as director Eugene Kittredge. This movie is only a little bit above 3 because of its handling of its tangible stakes, but just like the third film, it is stuck in this really good range compared to the other films of the franchise. Now, as we get to the top 5 on this list, the next 3 films here can really go back and forth for me because they all sit in the same spot. But at number 5, we have the 4th film of the franchise, Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. This is a really great action film, and I believe this is where the franchise really started to pivot from being a series of one-off adventures with Ethan Hunt to being a connected set of films. This movie's action and stunt scenes are fantastic, Benji's character starts to shine, but the really big problem here for me is that the villain Kurt Hendricks is the most forgettable villain of the franchise. At number 4, we have Dead Reckoning, or Dead Reckoning Part 1. This movie is really great in how it starts to tie the franchise back to the first film, in particular with director Kittredge. Esai Morales as Gabriel is a fantastic villain, and I liked him better in this film than I did in The Final Reckoning. Almost every sequence in the film is executed very well, and I also don't have a problem with the way that they killed off Ilsa Faust, because her fight with Gabriel was the best scene in the film. The problems this movie had, though, are that the chase scene in Rome took too long, and some of the writing with Ethan and Grace felt very rushed. Now, I still really do like the character of Grace and how she is a redemption of the pickpocket, thief type character that they tried and failed to do back in the second film. At number 3, we have The Final Reckoning, or Dead Reckoning Part 2. This film wraps up the franchise, for the most part, very, very well. Tom Cruise gives us his best performance as Ethan Hunt to date. The action set pieces are amazing, as always. They did Luther's death in a great way, and they handled the entity as an AI villain much better in this film than I thought they did in Dead Reckoning, and the stakes have never been higher. But the problem for me here is that the first act feels jumbled, where everything was edited in a weird way. These next 2 are amazing, but our runner-up is Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, the 5th film of the franchise and the first one that I ever watched. Now, this movie does seem smaller in scale compared to the rest of the films in the franchise, in particular these latter ones, but almost everything about it is executed beautifully. It does have that TV series extended episode feel that the first film had, though of course executed cinematically. The movie introduces us to the best villain of the franchise in Solomon Lane, played by Sean Harris, and another top-level character in Ilsa Faust, played by Rebecca Ferguson. Alec Baldwin plays a great CIA Kittredge-type character inside the film as well. The action and stunt scenes are amazing, but the best stunt scene in the movie with the plane is done right away, and that does make the ending scene, though amazing, seem quite small. Now, this may have been an intentional move by the filmmakers to build the scale back up for number one on our list, which is Mission Impossible Fallout. This is the sixth film in the franchise and my favorite. This is an almost perfect action film and is full of the franchise's signature tricks. We have some great new characters again, like Walker, played by Henry Cavill, and the White Widow, played by Vanessa Kirby. This film does bring back the darker tone of 3, which is funny since the movie does close out the plotline with Ethan and Julia. The score and cinematography is at its best in this film, especially in the exchange sequence in Paris. All this ends out with the helicopter battle and the bomb diffusion scene in the finale. This movie is where everything they went for, they pulled off, and that is why it comes in at number one for the best film of the Mission Impossible franchise. Hello everyone, welcome back to Movies with Michael. I hope you enjoyed this ranking video, and if you did, leave a like and comment down below how do you rank these movies, which ones do you love, which ones do you hate, and which ones are right there in between. You can tell me all that down below in the comments section, and please remember, as always, to subscribe to this channel and click the notification icon to be notified about my latest videos. That's all for now, and I'll see you all next time.